Sportscast, June 11, 2020. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And visit us on thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net. This episode is brought to you by Insta Bible app. You can get the Insta Bible app via the iOS App Store. Today we have another back-to-back special episode, but before we introduce this guest, we got Justin Riley on the line all the way from Mississippi. What's happening?
All the way from Mississippi, but Alabama's in my heart for sure. Glad to be here pulling double duty this week, talking more Alabama.
And more about Alabama, some breaking news today, which the news broke on tdalabama.com, that 3 more players tested positive for coronavirus, leaving it to a total of 8, Justin. What have you heard?
Same thing you have. Nothing more released other than that it's been discovered. It's kind of to be expected, as everybody starts to gather back again and things are opening up like crazy. It's to be expected, but I have no doubt that it will be controlled and everybody's going to be all right, and we'll get back to normal pretty soon.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide's coaching and medical staff will continue to keep players quarantined and try to manage the situation as best as possible. The good news is all 8 cases were asymptomatic, meaning that infected players are less likely to pass on the virus. Also, in the second round of testing, the university was able to control things a lot better. So Alabama, one of the biggest schools in college football, which a lot of people are looking up to, are managing it well so far. Anyways, Justin, what is today's entree?
Today's entree. Well, first, let me give another shout-out again to the fine folks at Rama Jammas. Hey, if you're looking for a great tradition to go with Alabama football, that's the place to go visit. They're conveniently located right by the stadium. Get one of those fire green tomato BLTs. I definitely want one. But if you're in town, swing by during the season or out of season. They'll be glad to see you.
That sounds like Permante's a little bit from Pittsburgh.
Hey, Rama Jammas has a better tradition.
Okay. Okay, who is our special guest?
Special guest. I mean, I'm really excited about this because this is one of my boys from back when I was at Alabama. He's the ESPN Hometown Hero Award winner, the Billy Neighbors Most Improved Defensive Lineman Award winner, the 2004 and 2005 Academic All-SEC, 2005 SEC Player of the Week against Mississippi State, had a pick 6. Man, I remember it like it was yesterday. 2006 Cotton Bowl captain. He was also on the coaching staff of Demopolis High School that won a 5A state championship. And he has just became the new head coach of Bessemer City High. Welcome in, my friend, Rudy Griffin.
Thank you, man. Glad to be on here, man. And man, it's good to talk to you, man. Long time no talk, man, I guess.
It has been way too long, man. But even though we have been talking, I have been following you along, and I've been seeing how God's been blessing you, man. It's just a tremendous blessing, for me to be able to see that and just see how He's using you, and just the doors that's been opening, man. It's just incredible.
Man, I appreciate that, man. It's been a blessing, man, and I've kind of stayed the course, man, and hopefully continue to do God's work and continue to get blessed, man.
Rudy, can you tell us, welcome to the show, by the way, tell us a brief bio of yourself.
Oh, wow. Well, of course, everybody know I played at the University of Alabama. Was a 2-year starter there on the nation's #1 defense for 2004 to 2005, when we won a Cotton Bowl and finished in the top 5 in the country as a team. But my career didn't start there. My career started at the Citadel, which was a military college in Charleston, South Carolina. I had dreams and aspirations to go play, football at the University of Alabama, and that was my, childhood dream. But man, like a lot of kids, man, I wasn't blessed with a lot of size and speed, and actually had negative stars. I didn't even have stars. I was in the negative. and far as ranking wise, but was blessed with the opportunity to go play at the Citadel, and really chose the Citadel, which is my only offer. But in my mind, I felt like it was the best thing because two reasons. One, the head coach at the time that was the head coach at the Citadel was a guy by the name of Coach Ellis Johnson, who was previously the previous year was before I signed was the defensive coordinator at University of Alabama. And so in my mind, if I couldn't go play at the University of Alabama and I couldn't suit up in the Crimson Tide, the Crimson jersey, if I can go play for Coach Ellis Johnson, who coached at Alabama, who won championships there, I felt like I had, I'd done that. I was playing at Alabama. And so, and the second reason why I chose the Citadel is I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be a military officer. My dad, who was very, very inspirational in my life, and was kind of is my role model. He was in the military in the military where they call it lifers. He was in there until he retired. I wanted to be a military officer, and so that's kind of two reasons why I chose there. And I went there to the Citadel, was a 2-year starter there, and I got to my sophomore year, and that itch came back, man. I felt like I think it was felt like it was now or never. If either I'm gonna go play at University of Alabama and follow my passion and my heart and my dream, or I'm gonna say, just stick where I'm at and with the comfortable, stuff that I was used to. So I prayed about it, and I talked to my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and I said, we're gonna move. We're gonna make a move. God told me to move, and I moved. And I went and talked to Coach Johnson and told him I wanted to transfer to the University of Alabama. It didn't go well, honestly. it didn't go well. You talking about a 2-year starter about to go into his 3rd year as a starter, and that's trying to leave and transfer. And back in 2000, early 2000, of course it was 2001. People really didn't transfer that much. And so I told him I wanted to transfer, and he said, Rudy, no, you're not transferring, you're not leaving, And he was reluctant to do that, and kind of went back and forth on that, and he eventually gave me my letter of release, and gave me my letter, and then I had to figure out where to go. And so, I went and I told my dad, I said, let's go, let's ride to Tuscaloosa and see if I can, get on the team. And, of course, I didn't know how the process worked at all, because I didn't talk to a coach or anything. And so me and my family, we left, Augusta, Georgia, which is my home, left Augusta, Georgia, and drove all the way to Tuscaloosa. Me, my dad, and my sister got there to the football facility, and I had my VHS tapes. And I had my highlight tapes from the Citadel, and I walked in there and I talked to the secretary and I said, "Hey, I'm Rudy Griffin. I play football, and I'm trying to walk on here and transfer here to play here at the University of Alabama." And they said, "Well, sir," the secretary said, "Well, sir, everybody's in a meeting here, and if you just leave your tapes, then they'll call you and get back in touch with you." And I said, "Well, I can wait." I said, "Well, son, it's gonna be a long time. They're in recruiting meetings and all this stuff, other stuff." I said, "I don't mind waiting." So me and my dad and my sister, sat down and we waited. Man, I mean, it was a long time. I mean, a really long time. I mean, I think we got there like 8:00 in the morning. We sat there in the lobby till at least about 1:30, and 1:30, 2:00, and a coach finally walks out. A guy by the name of Coach Randy Ross, who was the director of football operations at the time. And he says, here, I heard you want to walk on here. I got your tapes, and we'll be in touch with you. I said, "Coach, can y'all watch them and tell me what you think?" And he looked at me and said, "Hey, son, we're busy. We got a lot of stuff." I said, "Coach, I don't mind waiting." I said, "I've been here since 8:00. He said, "Hey, it's going to be a while." And so he takes the tape, and I said, he goes back there, and it's another 4 or 5 hours. I'm still sitting in there in the lobby. And then, they walk back out, him and Coach Randy Ross, and then the defensive line coach defensive end coach Paul Randolph walks out. And he says, "Hey, we watched the tape. and we think you can play, and we probably want to invite you to the the 105, which was I guess the number that you can allow that to bring in the camp, the practice, summer camp. And so I said, oh man, I was fired up. That was an opportunity, and so I got there and I got back, went back home, and I came back for camp, for fall camp. Started practicing. Did that whole year as a red shirt junior, walk on. No scholarship, and it's everything of what you think the life of a walk on was. You did all the dirty work. I was practice player, doing all that stuff, all the walk on stuff. And did that, and the good thing about it is, man, I didn't take it for granted, man. I was happy and blessed just to be out there, but I didn't just relish in just being out there. I went hard and won all the awards. But after the season, came over, my family, I didn't come from a whole lot of money, and I couldn't afford school. I had left a full ride athletic scholarship at the Citadel. Was paying for school at the University of Alabama, and I couldn't afford it. So I went and sat down and have a meeting with Coach Shula, who was the head coach at the time, Mike Shula, and Coach Randy Ross again. And I said, Coach, I just want to, sit down and have a meeting with you, let you know, actually, if there's any opportunity that I can earn a scholarship. And he said, they pulled the board back, with all the scholarships on there, and they gave me the whole spiel that, hey, Rudy, we got scholarship all this stuff, reduction, and, we got so many numbers and all that stuff. So we're not going to be able to do that, Rudy, And I told him, I said, well, Coach, I just want to thank you, for a great opportunity that you gave me, man. You took a young boy who was a childhood dream, who was to play for the University of Alabama, and I did that. I didn't get in the game or anything. I just practiced. I redshirted, and I appreciate that. And I said, but I'm gonna have to withdraw because I can't afford, school. And so they, got up and, I shook their hand. They shook my hand, and they said, Rudy, we think you did a great job, man. You won practice player of the year, and scout team player of the year and all that stuff. You did a great job. But, if anything we can do to help you, let me know. So, man, I left the office and I went to my dorm room. My dad came back up and we packed up my dorm room and we went back to Augusta and to kind of figure out the game plan, what we was going to do. Now this was after the first semester. So that was around, the holidays around December. And I'm sitting there in my house, trying to figure out, where I'm going to go, next, because I walked away from a scholarship at the Citadel, and, now I don't know where I'm going to go. And so it's about a few days for Christmas, and I get a phone call, and my phone's ringing. I was like, who's calling me from this number right here, this Miami number? And so I pick it up, and he says, hey, Rudy, what you doing? I said, I'm just sitting here. I didn't recognize the voice at first. So what's going on? Oh, I said, what's going on, Coach? It's Coach Shula. He said, hey, Rudy, I'm just checking in on you, see what you're doing. I said, oh, yeah, Coach, I'm just, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And he says, hey, Rudy, we normally don't do this. I just want to give you an early Christmas present and tell you that we're going to offer you a full athletic scholarship, full ride scholarship to the University of Alabama. He said that you earned it. And now what we can't do, Rudy, is that we're not going to be able to announce it publicly because we normally don't scholarship a kid after one semester. You normally have to go 1, 2, 3 years, but you earned it. You came in for one semester to prove that you can play at this level. And so they scholarship. And, of course, like I said, I went on to be a 2-year starter there at Alabama. And the funniest thing, one of the biggest games was my senior year, I think. We was on that run, and Justin remembers this. We was on that championship run, and we was 9-0, and we was playing Mississippi State in Starkville, and of course, it was a tight game, man, kind of back and forth, and we get in there, and I'm out there on defense playing nose guard, and the quarterback drops back to pass, and it's a screen play, and I read it, man, kind of did all my reads like I'm supposed to. And, read the guard, and I get in his hip pocket, and the quarterback throws the ball, and I think the quarterback is just meant to be. I catch it, interception, and I take it and I go score, I go score, man, in a touchdown, and man, it was unbelievable, man, unbelievable experience. But after the game, I'm doing the media stuff, with the media press and all that stuff about the interception and scoring a touchdown as a defensive lineman. And somebody comes to our locker room and says, "Hey, Rudy, you got a visitor here." I said, "Man, I don't know nobody in Starkville." And so I goes outside, and what do you know? It's my old football coach, Coach Ellis Johnson. He was now the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, and he came and gave me a big hug, him and his wife, and came in a big hug and just told me that he was proud of me, man. And man, that was a huge honor, man, as far as in my playing career there, man. It's just kind of just icing on the cake, man, to kind of go full circle with Coach Johnson, who I'm still in a relationship with now, man, as far as friendship, man. He's kind of a mentor to me in the profession. But as far as coaching-wise, I've been coaching, man, all over, really. I've coached high school football here in the state, won a state championship at Demopolis in 2009 with me and Coach Causey, who was the head coach, and left there and went coached at a Washington State University out there in the Pac-12. Was there with some former Alabama guys, Coach Chris Ball, Coach Dave Unger was on the staff there. And then I left Washington State and took a coaching job at Idaho State in Idaho, where another Alabama guy, me and him was worked there together, is a guy by the name of Todd Bates, who's now the defensive line coach at Clemson. We worked there together. And when I left Idaho State and took a defensive job there at Navarro Junior College in Texas. From Navarro to Birmingham Southern. From Birmingham Southern, I took a defensive coordinator job at Hewitt Trussell High School, where I was there for a few years, and then East Central Community College, and then from East Central Community College to where I'm at now at Bessemer City High School. I did forget one place. I forgot my very first coaching job was at South Dakota State, in a very, 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 very cold place. That
you like the cold, huh?
Season, yeah, man. It seems like it. I mean,
Washington, Idaho, now Dakota.
South Dakota. Yeah.
The cold loves him.
I coached in. No, exactly. The cold loves me, and I coached in every cold place that you could think of, and it was, I'm a southern boy that went out there and had to get back to the hot states.
Don't blame me, and definitely the southern cooking too, I bet.
Oh man, no.
Like Ramajamas.
No doubt. Love Ramajama.
What's your favorite dish from Ramajamas?
Man, I love any breakfast item from there.
Amen.
So, but
did you ever conquer the national championship BLT?
Plenty of times.
That's what I'm talking about.
Easy money.
Well, I want to kind of go back a little bit, back at our time in Alabama, for the modern day fan and even the modern day Alabama fans, they have a different view now of what we experienced back at that time. It was a pretty interesting time. A lot of people have forgotten about it, and those of us that went through it definitely appreciate the good years. We were a program that was in complete disarray. We were going on our fourth coach. When I was there, before you got there, I went through 4 coaches in 4 years, and one of those coaches was there probably 20 minutes before Coach Shula got hired. You came into a situation where it just wasn't ideal, and it felt like to me that Alabama kind of lost its way. And I remember working with you guys, the red shirts and the walk-ons, and I just saw something special from you guys, you and Wallace Gilberry especially. I just felt like there was a hunger there in your group that wasn't necessarily there from the upperclassmen. I felt like they forgot what it meant to play for Alabama. And I remember one day, I'm not sure if you were around or not, but Cornelius Wortham was sitting there just he was really disappointed about the way things were going. And, back in the weight room, then we had across all the walls, all the former All-Americans and former award winners from Alabama. And he's looking at all that, and he said, man, Why don't we have that anymore? I don't understand what's happened to us. And I felt like after that point, you and the rest of the guys in your class just kind of took it upon yourselves to be that change that Alabama needed. I was in there at 4:30 in the morning with you guys. I mean, it was tough
Yep.
getting out of bed, but you over there
Oh yeah.
with the biggest smile on your face, no matter what was going on, having a great time, but yet there was just still
Man,
this
love and life.
yes, and there's this unrelenting focus in your eyes. And I was like, this guy gets it. But at what point in your mind do you feel like we started being Alabama again?
Well, I think it was, and man, it was like you said, man, it was tough times, man. And you had a coach that deserted us, and thought the grass was greener, and took a job in the Big 12 and found out the grass wasn't greener. And and then you had Coach Price, who I thought would have been very successful there. He did his deal, and everybody knows that. And I'm not gonna go into all that.
Right.
But I thought Shula was the right hire for the time, because we was in disarray. We needed somebody that was a Bama guy that got it. And I thought once things kind of settled down after Shula's first year, I thought, especially that 2004 season, I thought that was kind of the starting point. Because believe it or not, man, we would joke all the time. We felt that our scout team could have played in the SEC, because on our scout team we had Ty Bates was on the scout team because he was redshirting that year. Ty Bates, Wallace Gilberry, myself, Cornelius Wortham. You mentioned him. He was redshirting because he had got a medical or something.
Yeah,
he was redshirting that year. So we had a bunch of starters on that scout team, and we kind of came together, just with that group in the 2003 season. And in that 2004 season, I think that was kind of where we kind of just put it to ourselves and just kind of, started going, man. And in 2005, that came to a head. I felt, and everybody in that whole era understands that, we had some key injuries, man. One being Tyrone Prothro. If he don't get hurt, it's a different story. I think that we kind of bring that national championship, I think, or at least play for it.
Doubt.
Man, it's been a great ride now, though, man. What Nick Saban and those guys have done, man. It's not even, man. Nobody could have pictured that.
Not even close. Rudy, how was the recruiting department back then? Back then, was the class pretty good in the recruiting rankings? But how was it back then?
Man, we joked, man, about, because our whole defense, man, we felt like we was a bunch of 3 stars and unranked guys, and all of us, we felt like, and so defensively, man, that's what gave us a chip on our shoulder, is because we felt like we was a bunch of overlooked guys. And if you look at it, man, that defense went on man, we had a bunch of guys win Super Bowls and play a long time in the NFL and done really, really great for themselves professionally. But recruiting wise, man, we feel that and I think that, and that's something that I think Coach Kynes kind of played to too, is we was a bunch of guys that were just overlooked, and guys that, they didn't really respect us because, we maybe wasn't the fastest, tallest, or whatever. But, it's not like it is today, man. I mean, with them getting the number, it's not nothing there like the recruits. But we just outplayed people because we wanted it more and we worked harder and we believed it.
And you mentioned that defense, man. That was one heck of a defense. Ranked number 1 in the country, total defense. And in case anybody's forgotten, let me read off the names that were on that defense. Yourself, Mark Anderson, D'Amico Ryans, Freddie Roach, who's now a coach at Alabama, Charlie Pepper, won a Super Bowl, Wallace Gilberry, Roman Harper, and Simeon Castile, just to name a few. Man, those are some dudes. I mean, you had a special squad.
Oh, yeah. Ramsey Robinson, Jawan Simpson, Juwan, who went on and played forever in the CFL, won a Grey Cup, was a player of the year there. I mean, we have, and I don't want to forget nobody, but all my brothers know I love them, and that group was a special group, man. And we we all came together, man, and believed it. And like I said, we played with a chip on our shoulder, man. We felt like, man, and we was what Coach Khan really instilled in us is that, and we believed it, man. If we do our job, just do our job, our one job, whatever it is, we're gonna win and we're gonna be successful, man. And we bought into it, man, wholeheartedly. And so that's something that I attest to those guys, with Coach Khan and the defensive staff there, man. They had us all believing it.
You guys,
I do want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to bring this up before we forget, and this is something we definitely cannot forget. Sticking with your years at Alabama. What a lot of people may not know, of course, you are the modern day version of the famous Rudy from Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
But what a lot of people don't know was you got a phone call from Rudy Rudiger. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Man, I did, man. It was, Rudy, and I say the other Rudy, not the real Rudy, because I'm the real Rudy. But the other
absolutely,
Rudy,
brother.
The other Rudy, his story it motivated me, man. And man, I used to watch that thing every day. In my college roommates would tell you that, and that's no lie. I would watch that thing every night, before I go to bed, just to hear his story and how he overcame every obstacle and, didn't make any excuses about it. But I did. And somehow the media caught wind of it. My first year starting there in 2004, we was getting ready to play University of Arkansas. And I'm walking off the field and, you're doing the media stuff. And one of the media personnel comes to me and says, "Hey, we got somebody on the phone that wants to talk to you." And so I said, "Okay." And I get the phone and answer it. And it's, hey, Rudy, this is Rudy Rudiger. Oh, man, it was very, very unexpected, man. And of course, me and him had a conversation there. And it was broadcast live on ESPN and on game day and all that stuff. But and since then, me and him still had we had a relationship for a while afterwards. And of course, he would text me and send a little motivational stuff but yeah, I still watch this. I still watch the movie now and try to incorporate some of his beliefs into my life and my programs, coaching.
Still with that, like that movie is still one of the best. Transitioning into your post-Alabama days, actually, before you got into coaching, was there a chance for you to go to pro, and why like the whole process, like the whole process with that after Alabama?
Well, after Alabama, of course, I wanted to play professionally. It didn't work out. I had a few tryouts, couple tryouts, Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, just a couple tryouts. Of course, I didn't make a team or anything like that. But honestly, I never pictured myself playing in the NFL. I wanted to do it, once I got there and got on that level. But my whole thing as a kid, and even when I got there, was to play at University of Alabama and, run out of that tunnel at Bryant-Denny Stadium and, have my dad and my family and, see me decked out and adorned in crimson. And that was my whole as a kid. And so I never envisioned myself playing in the NFL. Now, of course, once I got there, I wanted to do it, but I wasn't hurt at all that I didn't, because I felt like I accomplished everything that I set out to do as a player. And, so once I finished playing, I jumped straight into coaching.